Hi everyone, my name is Daniel, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible tragedy with you. On September 30th, 1955, James Dean and his factory-trained mechanic, Rolf Wutherich, were at Competition Motors in Hollywood. They were preparing the Little Bastard for the upcoming weekend sports car races at Salinas, California. Little Bastard was the affectionate nickname of James Dean's beloved sports car, a Porsche 550 Spyder. Initially, James Dean had a plan to tow his Porsche 550 Spyder using his Ford Country Squire station wagon. To execute this plan, he enlisted the help of his friend Bill Hickman, who was not only a stuntman for Warner Bros., but also an experienced driver. Additionally, a professional photographer from Collier's magazine was accompanying them, as he intended to capture the story of James Dean for a feature article. However, in preparation for the race, James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder had not met the required mileage. Rolf Wütherich, James Dean's trusted mechanic, proposed a solution to address this issue. He suggested that James Dean take the car on the drive to Salinas, California, to accumulate more time behind the wheel. This recommendation was made to ensure that the Porsche would qualify for the upcoming race. So, on that late September day, James Dean and his crew gathered for breakfast across the street from Competition Motors before embarking on their journey at 1:15 p.m. After a brief stop for gas around 2 p.m., they continued their drive north. However, their journey took an unexpected turn when, at approximately 3:30 p.m., James Dean caught the attention of a California Highway Patrol officer while driving his Porsche. The officer promptly pulled over James Dean and informed him that he had been going 65 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone, exceeding the posted limit. Not only was James Dean issued a ticket for his violation, but his friend Bill Hickman, who was following behind him in a station wagon, also received a citation for driving 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. After receiving their tickets from the California Highway Patrol officer, James Dean and Bill Hickman set off on their journey westward on SR 166. This particular highway was well known among drivers traveling to Salinas, California, as a convenient shortcut, often referred to as the Racer's Road. At one point during their drive, James Dean decided to make a quick stop to grab something to eat and drink. During this break, he unexpectedly bumped into two fellow racers who happened to be at the same location. They exchanged greetings and struck up a conversation, eventually agreeing to meet for dinner later that night. Around 5:15 p.m., James Dean resumed his journey towards Paso Robles, California. With a surge of adrenaline, he accelerated his car, leaving Bill Hickman and the photographer behind in the station wagon. James Dean's passion for speed and his desire to push the limits were evident as he effortlessly maneuvered through the winding roads. At approximately 5:45 p.m., a significant event took place on US 466 in California. A two-tone black and white 1950 Ford Tudor traveled eastward along the road. Behind the wheel of this classic vehicle was Donald Turnipseed, a 23-year-old Navy veteran and Cal Poly student. Little did anyone know that this routine drive would soon turn into a tragic collision. As the Ford Tudor approached the intersection, Donald Turnipseed made a left turn onto SR 41, heading northbound towards Fresno. However, a life-changing moment was about to unfold in a split second. Crossing the center line, Donald's Ford collided almost head-on with an oncoming car. The approaching vehicle's driver was James Dean, a renowned actor and avid car enthusiast. Recognizing the imminent crash, James attempted a racing maneuver known as a sidestepping maneuver to avoid the collision. Yet, the timing and available space were not in James's favor. Despite his best efforts, the two cars collided, resulting in a devastating impact. The powerful sports car, driven by the legendary actor, smashed into the ground not once but 2 or 3 times, before ultimately landing in a deep gully beside the shoulder of the road. Due to the force of the crash, the much heavier Ford vehicle slid 39 feet down US 466. This collision was witnessed by several individuals who were passing by and immediately stopped to offer assistance. Among those who rushed to the scene was a woman with nursing experience. With a calm and composed demeanor, she attended to James Dean. Her trained eyes detected a weak pulse in his neck, indicating his dire condition. Someone had managed to pull James Dean from the severely damaged remains of his car, which was once known as Little Bastard. During the accident, James Dean's left foot had gotten trapped between the clutch pedal and the brake pedal, resulting in a crushing injury. The extent of his injuries was severe, as his vehicle, not the Ford, had absorbed the majority of the impact. As a result, he sustained a broken neck, along with extensive internal and external injuries. Bill Hickman and the photographer from Collier magazine arrived at the accident site about 10 minutes after the crash. Upon their arrival, they witnessed a heart-wrenching scene. James Dean, who was unconscious and gravely injured, was being carefully placed into an ambulance. The severity of his condition was evident, and it was clear that he was fighting for his life. Meanwhile, Rolf Wütherich, who had been thrown out of the Porsche 550 Spyder during the collision, lay motionless on the shoulder of the road near the wreckage. He was barely conscious, his body battered and broken from the impact. James Dean and Rolf Wütherich were transported to the Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital in the same ambulance. However, the outcome was devastating for James Dean, as he was pronounced dead on arrival at 6:20 p.m. by the emergency room physician. The severity of his injuries was reflected in the cause of death listed on his death certificate. According to the death certificate, James Dean's cause of death was attributed to a broken neck, multiple fractures of the upper and lower jaw, both arms broken, and internal injuries. In contrast to James Dean's unfortunate fate, his passenger, Rolf Wütherich, managed to survive the accident. Although Rolf Wütherich suffered serious injuries, including a broken jaw and significant damage to his hip and femur, he was able to receive immediate medical attention and undergo surgery to address his injuries. The driver of the other vehicle involved in the accident was Donald Turnipseed. Unlike Wütherich, Turnipseed was relatively fortunate and only sustained minor injuries. He suffered facial bruises and a bloodied nose, but ultimately escaped the accident with less severe consequences compared to the others involved. Many people believe that James Dean's last known words uttered just before impact after Rolf Wütherich told Dean to decelerate as the Ford Tudor pulled into their lane was, "That guy's gotta stop. He'll see us." However, there are people who doubt this happened, referring to this as pure conjecture. James Dean, the iconic actor known for his rebellious spirit and timeless charm, was laid to rest on October 8, 1955. The somber occasion took place at the Fairmount Friends Church in Fairmount, Indiana. As a testament to his popularity, an estimated 600 mourners gathered inside the church to pay their final respects to the beloved actor. During the funeral, the coffin remained closed, concealing the severe injuries James Dean had sustained to his upper torso and face in the tragic car accident that claimed his life. The decision to keep the coffin closed was made to preserve his memory, allowing mourners to remember him as he was before the accident. Outside the church, a staggering number of fans, approximately 2,400, had gathered to be a part of the procession. Following the funeral service, James Dean's body was laid to rest at Park Cemetery in Fairmount, a final resting place just a stone's throw away from the farm where his aunt and uncle had raised him. On October 11, 1955, the sheriff coroner made the decision to call for an inquest regarding the tragic accident involving James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder. During the proceedings, Donald Turnipseed, the individual involved in the collision, testified to the jury that he had not spotted James Dean's vehicle until he was already making a left turn onto SR 41. Following Turnipseed's testimony, additional evidence was presented by the California Highway Patrol and various witnesses who observed the crash. After careful consideration, the coroner's jury ultimately reached a verdict of accidental death, concluding that there was no criminal intent involved. Consequently, Donald Turnipseed was found not guilty of any contributory wrongdoing in relation to James Dean's untimely demise. Despite not facing any legal charges, Donald Turnipseed's life was forever altered by the tragic accident. The impact of the incident left an indelible mark on him, haunting him for the remainder of his days. In the crash's immediate aftermath, he granted a single interview to a local newspaper. However, following that, he made the decision to refrain from discussing the accident publicly. James Dean's legacy extends beyond his acting career. One of the most intriguing aspects of Dean's life is the curse associated with his car, famously known as Little Bastard. This sleek sports car became an extension of his personality, symbolizing his love for speed and adventure. Shortly after acquiring the car, James Dean's close friend, British actor Alec Guinness, warned him about a premonition he had. Alec Guinness believed that Little Bastard was cursed and urged James Dean not to drive it. He told James Dean, "Please, never get in it. It is now 10 o'clock Friday, September 23, 1955. If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." It was the following week that James Dean was tragically killed in a car wreck. After the fatal accident, the curse of Little Bastard seemed to take hold. When the car wreckage was sold to a mechanic, he experienced a series of strange incidents, including the engine mysteriously falling and crushing his legs, leading many to believe it was cursed. Over the years, several individuals associated with the car faced misfortune and tragedy. Some experienced car accidents, while others suffered injuries or even death. Realizing the dangers associated with the cursed car, various attempts were made to contain the curse. Little Bastard was displayed in a museum, but a fire broke out, destroying most of the exhibit. The remaining wreckage mysteriously disappeared, adding to the cursed car's intrigue. Historic Auto Attractions in Roscoe, Illinois, renowned for its collection of historic automobiles and artifacts, has an original piece of James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder on display. The intriguing part is a small chunk of aluminum, measuring only a few square inches. Interestingly, this particular piece was stolen from an area near the broken windscreen while the car was being stored in the Cholame garage, following the tragic crash that claimed James Dean's life. In 2005, the Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois, made a bold claim regarding the display of what was purported to be the passenger door of the infamous Little Bastard. To back up their claim, the Volo Auto Museum even offered a staggering $1 million reward to anyone who could prove that they owned the remains of the Little Bastard. However, despite the substantial reward, no one came to claim the prize. As of today, the remains of the Little Bastard are still missing, leaving car enthusiasts and historians puzzled. The mystery surrounding this iconic vehicle's whereabouts continues to captivate people's imaginations worldwide. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and like always. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.